For day 30, I want to talk about the conclusion of this project, what I've learned, and what I've been up to today. So first today, looking at the complexities of bureaucracy in the legal system in a lot of different areas in government, I have concluded that it is hopeless to try and undo or restructure all of these enormous bureaucratic protocols and laws. An enormous amount of our money, probably about 80%, is not being spent directly and potently for the public good. It's harassing street people, giving people speeding tickets, slowing down people's house building projects, slowing down their business activities, a whole host of things that we as citizens are perfectly capable of doing and would enjoy doing immediately are being actually suppressed. And it gets into travel as well. I can't have my friends visit me from various countries because of my government. It's a nightmare. And the idea that I had is inspired by this video, and it's simply this: that bureaucracies and governments are given a certain reasonable percentage of money, whether it's 5, 10, 20, or 30% of money. And without trying to restructure all of this numerous focus on law, the question is simply this: are elected people, elected officials, and particularly at the local level, are they doing things that we as citizens believe will bring the greatest well-being to the greatest number of people? And that's it. This is how we spent your money today. Just a kind of a daily report, a weekly report, and getting feedback. Likes, yes, my well-being is going to go up because of what you're doing, or no, it isn't. My well-being is not going to go up because of what you're doing. My well-being is going down. So a neutral, negative, or a like. And that we look, when we reduce the budget, it's a little bit like, I read this book called The One Thing. It's a great book. Boils down to one thing. Pick the one thing that is the most important one thing for your most important one thing, let's say your happiness and well-being, and do that one thing. It's pretty simple. And it's a great exercise. I asked myself that question and decided that if I could triple the number of inquiries on my business website, that would be the one thing, because of all the ripple effects. Being able to pick customers that were a better fit, that I liked more, that I was a better fit for them. The more customer inquiries you have, the more you can say, yeah, I'm not the best person for you, you're not the best person for me, but you're good. So you can triple the amount of inquiries. It means that, I can turn away 2/3 and point them in a good direction. And simultaneously income goes up and all that. So, and then I get to do things like this. So it had a lot of ripple effects. And so I embarked on the one thing. I had my assistant look at the top 100 websites in the United States for landscape designers and installers. Number one, the ones who won the most awards, the best rated companies, basically. Number two, he sent me all 100 of their websites. Number three, I went through, click, 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 and left a tab open every time I found one I really liked. And it gave me like 5 finalists. I picked my favorite of those. Asked my assistant how much it cost to build me this website with all of my imagery and my data importing over into this format. And got a price, and $1,500 later, my response rate went up 400%. And so all those benefits came about. By picking one thing, spending $1,500, and that's easily generated another $100,000 in options. So very high return on investment. So that's the one thing. Now, I'm told constantly by government officials, we can't help you with that. We're overbooked, we're late, da-da-da-da-da. And then I'm constantly told by the same officials, you can't do this that you want to do. We don't have time to help you do what you want to do, but we have time to stop you doing what you want to do. And so it's completely messed up. Half of my money goes out to this government, which spends a lot of its time explaining why it can't help me do anything I want to do. Like I can't contact anyone and say, could I start a nonprofit with just me? Because anyone I would consider for a board member is too busy and stuff, and I don't want to be dragged down by the fact that most people are too busy in this country. I don't want the project dragged down. Could we do that? No, we can't do that, and I can't return your call, blah, 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 blah. Could I build this nice little structure on my raw land that would help with this, and the neighbors like it? No, that doesn't meet our regular... I mean, it's endless. So the idea is simple. And what I did today was I made a 30-minute video going into more detail and nuance about this. The many ways that our bureaucracies and governments are spending our money to delay, torment, add unnecessary, bureaucracy and crap. The Danes in Denmark are doing a great job of this. They've got much more extensive government, but it's all about this focus of helping people, the well-being of the people. It's a real commitment in Denmark. It's so beautiful to see. But this is my idea. Keep the government to a certain agreed size that no one has any issue about, and then request that every government project, every government official, every government employee justify their existence on a yearly and quarterly basis, yearly, quarterly, monthly to varying degrees, on how many people they are helping in the opinion of the people they are supposedly helping. Not we're helping the poor people who are sick and tired of them being harassed and being woken up in their newspapers and asked to fill out surveys as opposed to being given a cup of coffee or some nice places that they could live. Shipping containers can be transformed into very fun small houses for a few $1,000s. There's no reason we need homeless people. They're just punished. If they try and do something like that, they're punished. If they keep being harassed under a bridge or whatever, they're tolerated. It's very, very strange. But that's the idea. Forget about the law and have a clear policy. We, as a government, are not focused anymore on enforcing all of the letter of all laws. We accept, given our limited resources, and given the stupidity of many of our laws, that they should not, that bankrupting this country to explode our government, to enforce laws that often have nothing to do with the people involved, is not a good use of our time. Therefore, we are going to selectively enforce laws based on our opinion and assessment, our best assessment of how many people's well-being will be benefited as a result of doing so in this instance. And we will be responsible for the feedback. So if a given official is abusing this authority to regularly interpret and selectively interpret laws in a way that helps his cronies and irritates everyone around, well, his cronies will give him a good vote. Everyone else will give the real data. Everyone affected by his decision, her decision, will get no. This person hurt 1,000 people to help a few rich people or a few this, that, and the other. And that data will be recorded. And if people are doing a good job and people's well-being is going up, and we can have competitions by town, by county, whose well-being is going up the most. We don't even need elections. We can just have data. If you want the job and a majority of people's well-being is going up, and no one has any counter proposals that people want to vote for even more, you got it. You know, we don't need to go to the polls. We can do it on an app. You know, and this is, I think, a really great setup. So anyway, that was my idea. So I made a recording for 30 minutes of that. I'll put that here. It's on. I'm going to add it to my other little project, which was Ideas Worth Action. If you enjoy ideas, if you're looking for something to contribute, to do that's win-win, there's probably 5% of the things that I think are wonderful ideas that would really excite you on some level. So just peruse. Feel free. I've absolutely given up on the idea of ever doing the vast majority of ideas, which would take 1,000 lifetimes. So I just think about and explore and do what I can. So that's today's project. There are other things in the works. My assistant is still working on all 3 of the kind of whiteboard viral videos and stuff around, decreasing pregnancies in rich areas which are incredibly resource intensive over the next 50 years, by which time we should hopefully have a lot more sustainable understanding and a relationship with our environment in which every person being born is not crucifying our environment by putting an extraordinary strain on it. So we should hopefully have that in place. I'm also exploring areas of trauma and doing lots of little personal things. And I spent about an hour looking at different countries' regulatory policies towards nonprofits and charities to see, is there a place, particularly in Southeast Asia, where a nonprofit could be founded, where there would be a partnership rather than a combativeness with the government. And I haven't found that yet, but that's a bit of research. And in summary, looking over these days and these projects, starting in Thailand and continuing in the United States, it's been grounding. It's been fun. A lot of stuff is in the works, and there are things simmering. A container building project in Thailand is continuing to simmer, and little contacts and stuff with a couple of landowners that I know there. The app, the well-being app, has continued to evolve and simmer. And based on an interesting TED Talk, I've learned that people that leave more time to simmer around things actually are more creative in the end. So I'm allowing a nice chance to simmer with all these things. And I'm learning a little bit. I met a nice charity, a gentleman running a charity for kids today, and I'm just gathering bits and details and building savings and income. I have another project, perhaps selling one of my pieces of land to free up $150,000 so that I have a little bit more playroom, because I feel a bit pinched with doing such big things and realizing that it's a numbers game. You absolutely can't guarantee any certain thing going out, and if you're playing with $30,000 projects, you got to have maybe 3 to have pretty solid certainty that one of them's going to work. So, if your whole budget is $30,000, then it feels tight, But if it's $150,000, I'm still not poor after doing 3 projects, 2 of which fail, So building redundancy and failure in as a learning curve, I think, is a healthy strategy. So I'm working on that. And mostly, I'm just amazed at how long this month feels. It's like an entirely another world. It's like, where was I? Oh, I was back in Thailand. What was I thinking? Oh, like this and that and the other. And it's just given me a little bit of an insight into my relationship with time and the amount of volatility and intensity in my relationship with time. So I hope you take up the mantle, begin a 30-day project of your own, and reach out with either something you'd like to celebrate and share that you've done, to inspire, celebrate, and share, or to support, to honor and continue a seed that I've planted in some way that speaks to you.